Hi guys. Today I have a special guest. It's my youngest son, Trevon,
Hi guys.
and I just wanted to go over some things that I did on yesterday, and with my journey through menopause, and then we're going to do a Q&A. On yesterday, I'm on vacation. On yesterday, my husband and I went out to the hotel just for some R&R, but before we went to the hotel, I went by and visit my sister and my dad. Anyway, my sister's kind of been my personal counselor through this time. Uh, One of my personal counselors, because definitely Trevon is one. But talking to my sister, and she just reminded me, Rita, you're not the only one going through menopause, and everybody doesn't want to talk about menopause. And she reminded me about she and I, because she's a person that internalizes things and she keeps things to herself. She's pretty private, and so she's just going through her journey, just her and Jesus. But for me, I've always liked talking about things and talking it out and having others help me out. So, um, uh, you know, I know that a lot of women don't want to talk about menopause, but I'm one of the ones who does. And I know that there are other women who share the same feeling. So on yesterday, had a pretty good day. My husband rode me around, and we just went to the hotel, relaxed, listened to some music, and I accidentally took 2 hormone pills. I freaked out, but then I realized there's nothing I can do about it, so I went ahead and just let it go. But I did take a sleeping pill, but for some reason I just couldn't sleep well in the hotel. So I noticed today that I'm really jittery. I kind of having a rough day today, but I'm making it. And I just wanted to say, talk to my girlfriend. She sent me a beautiful card, and she and I are on this journey together. And I just wanted to read the scripture that I've been sharing with other people about being able, not doing things alone. But it says, two are better than one, because they have a good return for their work. If one falls down, his friend can help him up. But pity the man who falls and has no one to help him up. And that's from Ecclesiastes. Well, say it for me, Trevon. Ecclesiastes 4 and verse 9 and 10. And that's just the way I've always felt like, I've got to have someone to help me, or I want to help someone else if they're struggling. So that's how I feel about things. But anyway, my son, we're going to do a Q&A, and I know that there are a lot of women that are struggling. I did some research. I've been reading a lot of things on Google and YouTube, and seeing other women in their journey, and just the doctors who've written books, and just explaining menopause. And I tell you, this one really took me for a loop. So I'm doing the best I can. Trevon, you have some questions for me?
I do. All right. I think we're ready to get started now.
Okay.
All right. So, Mom, how are you feeling?
Today I'm feeling a little anxious, I guess you would say, because I didn't get enough sleep last night at the hotel for some reason. I guess I had quite a bit on my mind, and the funny thing is, I slept on the opposite side of the bed with the alarm, and the light kept me up most of the night, so didn't sleep well.
So, what kind of thoughts have crossed your mind?
The same as usual. You really don't want me to talk about that, so can we go to the next question?
what has helped you cope the most with your feelings all over the place?
Drawing my thoughts in, reading the Bible, reading some tools that my mom has given me, and focusing on what the Word says, and
So,
praying.
but I mean, when you say like drawing in your thoughts, that can be a rather difficult task, just because your mind gets so occupied racing at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like, what has helped you to like slow down and like just get yourself together?
Well, kind of talking to myself. Okay, Rita, you know that you should be thinking about other things, and the Bible tells me to focus on whatsoever things are pure, what's lovely, good thoughts. Just trying to think of other things than what I've been thinking about for the last few months. So that helps me.
What makes your anxiety worse?
I guess the fact that I didn't get a good night's sleep. I noticed that some days are better than others, and today was just. Yesterday I had a really good day, and the day before, but today it's been kind of rough.
So sleep deprivation is a thing.
Yeah.
What about like when people are there in like any triggers, like certain areas of life that trigger it?
Well, yeah, you and I know what those are.
I think it's safe to say that like certain people can be triggers and things going on. So
oh yeah, definitely.
I would assume that for those of you who don't know, my mother and I are very close. So things that go on in my personal life, whenever they come to her knowledge, affect her pretty greatly. So I would say that, and it's okay to say that I think I'm one of her triggers. So like things that go on in my personal relationships, things that go on with me at my job or in school, whenever I feel anxiety or stress, I think she feels it 5 times worse.
Yeah, thanks to menopause.
Which is, I think, what also makes these relationships difficult, because at a certain point, like she's going through her own struggles, but at a certain point I feel that it would be negative for me to continue to add more stress to her. So it kind of drives a wedge in between us sometimes, because I'm trying to do my best to protect her from myself.
And I don't think that's fair that I'm doing that to him. So we talked about how menopause can ruin relationships, and I love my baby, or my son. He doesn't want me to call him baby anymore, but and I know it's not fair to take him through the things that he's been going through for the last few months. So I'm really,
I won't say that's not fair, because I just have to be understanding that it's not something that you chose. But I do understand it is a tough situation, because we're so close. I don't want to harm her by just me going through my everyday life and dealing with my own stresses and worries. So it's kind of like we have to create a certain level of separation in order for us to still function together. Mm-hmm. The less she knows about what goes on in my life, the less she worries. The more she knows, the more she worries. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like I have to close certain doors in order to keep her at bay,
and that's tough.
I think you're feeling some anxiety just talking about it right now, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, my heart feels like it's racing, and I know that that's I get the heart racing and the palpitations and things, but I'm hoping this is going to help me.
I'm sure it will. Like, it's definitely a process, and I know she enjoys talking things out. So it's hard because when I get home or when I'm around, I know she wants to talk about her day and my day.
Because that's what we've always done.
But now things have had to change.
Yeah.
And like, it's tough. And I know she feels like I'm forcing her out. or
that's
rejecting her.
best. No, it's okay.
But it's honestly just like almost like I have to keep her at arm's bay, and just because I know the more she gets involved in my life, she has to deal with her stress and my stress, um, and I don't think that's fair to her to burden her with that. Um, but we'll move on. We'll keep moving.
Okay, we'll keep moving.
So good days and bad days, or is it a mix of both, or like, or can it change from 1 minute to the next? Do you have like a good day and a bad day, or is it literally like a shifting 1 minute to the next kind of good moment, bad moment?
Shifting, I would say. The other night when we went for the car ride, that was a rough time. But we talked things through, and the next day that was a great day. So.
But was the whole car ride a bad thing? Because I thought we were having a good time.
Well, I felt anxiety in the car ride, but
the entire time.
Pretty much. But I wanted to go with you because I know that's something that you wanted to do, and I wanted to experience what you like. Because lately you've been helping me so much and doing so much with me. So I wanted to be able to make you feel better.
Okay, but we do have to give you two some background information. Usually when I have free time, if I get off work at night or whatever the case is, I like to get in the car and just go for a drive. They're very therapeutic and cathartic for me to just be on the streets when they're clear, see how the city looks almost like when it's sleeping. So my mom and my dad had, my mom had been home all day, I believe, and she was down to go with me on one of my late night drives. So I thought she was pretty excited. So I came in, I picked her up, and we got in the car and we just rode. We got to do a lot of sightseeing, and we saw some areas I hadn't seen before and that she hadn't seen in a while. And we had conversation the entire time, and I thought that, and this is a part of menopause where it breaks down relationships, the communication factor. I was going in with the mindset that, we were having just a casual good time, but I didn't know she was experiencing anxiety going into it. What were you anxious about going in?
Because, one of my focal points, and I know you say, Mom, we're not talking about that. And so I was trying to, because the last time we were in the car and you were like, Mom, can you just ride in the car and don't say anything? So I was trying to do that this time. And then, I said, I just felt nervous about what I was going to say or what to say and what not to say. And then once I said something, it kind of turned south for me. So I just felt anxious the whole time, and
So you feel like you have to tiptoe and dance around what you can say and can't say?
Yeah, because I just can't say the right things lately. So
that's like a social anxiety that is hard to deal with, which actually, my next question was going to be, does being around people make it easier or harder to deal with menopause?
Well, I don't know. Some days some days I feel like I'm around people, but I still feel kind of alone. I still kind of feel isolated. But I read today that that's that's common with women, going through menopause, that they still feel alone, So even though they're in a room full of people.
So what can we do to help, like, as the people that are around you trying to support you? Like, should we avoid certain things to talk about? Should we allow you to have your space and just be around? Or
I think that the people around me should just continue to do what they're doing, and I've just got to work through it. Like you say, I got to suck it up, Mom.
I said that in a much more loving tone, just
Yeah,
so you
you
guys
did.
know.
Okay.
What do you do to bounce back on your tough days?
Gird up the loins of my mind, try to change the pattern of thought.
Do you have any like activities that you like to do, or would you recommend, or are you looking to try different things? Like just for the more casual viewer that's trying to. Some of you are not religious. We understand that.
Yeah.
We come from a religious background, and we always fall back on our faith to get us through difficult things. But there even still like we have things that we like to do to relieve stress and whatnot. But
so I wanted to try zip lining. I've never done that. I want to try to conquer some fears. I want to do some things that I've never done. I was talking to my best friend today, and I told her, your dad and I went downtown. We went to Disney Springs, and I went into the Sperry shoe store, and I was thinking to myself, I've never been in a Sperry shoe store ever that I can remember. And anyway, I told her about that, and she got so emotional because she's going through menopause also. And she's like, Rita, really, Rita? And I read on the sign that they've been established since 1935, and I've never gone inside a Sperry shoe store. So, there's regrets, things that I go, why didn't I go? Because I didn't have the money to go, so I didn't go. I like the shoes and stuff, but I just didn't do that. So anyway, I'm telling my friend about it, and she and I are talking, and anyway, my husband tells me that her husband hit him up because he saw the video from before on Facebook, and he said, my wife is going through the same things, so we got to support our wives. And my husband's been so supportive. Your brother Trenton, my mom, my sister, everybody around me. So what more can I ask for? I'm just hoping that this passes soon. I'm just hoping and praying that I get through this quickly, because I know nobody likes going through.
My last one is, does talking with other menopausal women help?
It does.
And how so?
For me, it does. It's what's the word? Cathartic.
Yeah,
it's cathartic. It's cathartic, and knowing that we're not going through this alone. And of course, we've always known that as we are women, as we grow older, we're all going to go experience menopause. But you just don't expect it, until you actually are right in the mix. And I just, I could deal with the night sweats and the hot flashes and everything, but the hormonal imbalance, I just never expected I would be where I am right now. So I'm just praying that I get through this quickly, and so the hormone therapy, and I've added some St. John's wort, and a lot of talking and communicating and trying new things, and mainly praying.
All right. Well, hopefully, I hope that this Q&A, and I hope that these videos do help you through that process. I definitely, now you guys may not know, but I'm more so behind the scenes trying to help guide her through this channel, or the YouTube process in general. But I do plan on being more in front of the camera, because I think that these sessions to talk and to like really get to the root of what's causing like the anxiety, and a lot of that can be helpful. So if you guys can find someone around you who's willing to invest time and show real interest in help you get to the root of your problems, it would be a great benefit. A lot of times we don't want to feel like a bother or a nuisance to someone, to ask for their help or ask for their time, especially since time is such a valuable resource that we don't get back. But if you're going through menopause, the people around you have to be understanding and willing to give you some of that time. You know, my mom has definitely invested a lot of her time into me, so it will only be right of me to invest my time back into her while she's going through it too. So we hope that we have been a blessing to you guys. This is Jesus, Me, and Menopause. So until next time, peace.
Deuces.